everyone knows 2020 is a big election year, and everyone also knows COVID-19 has affected the voting process. Today, we're here with Thurston County Auditor Mary Hall to learn what's different this year. Hi, Mary. Thanks for taking the time when you're absolutely busy, thanks for taking the time to be here. How are you?
Oh, living the dream, doing great. We're a little busy, but I'm happy to be here.
So, is there anything different with registering to vote this year with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, yes and no. I think this year, it's easier than ever. People can go online to votewa.gov, and it just takes a minute to register to vote as long as they have a driver's license or Washington ID. But this year, voters can also register in person up to Election Day. However, if it's after October 26th, they will need to register in person. And our voting center this year is at the South Puget Sound Community College Mottman campus. So after October 26th, that's where they'll need to go and register.
So it's probably best for them to just go online and register that way. But if they'd like to come in person, what do they need to bring with them to go to the SPSCC voter registration complex?
Really, they just need to bring themselves. And our voter registration is strictly drive-through. Okay. So they won't even need to get out of their car. So if they come, we will give them a voter registration form, and they simply need to fill that out, confirm that they're a citizen and attest to the accuracy of the information that they provide us.
With COVID, should they be wearing a mask in their car? And do they need ID and that kind of thing?
We do request that everybody wear a mask for their safety and the safety of our staff. They don't need an ID. We actually bounce their voter registration off of the Department of Licensing website for their information. And if they don't have a driver's license, we request the last four of their social security number, and we bounce their information off of the Social Security Administration.
Okay, so the deadline for registration online is October 26th, but the absolute deadline for registration is Election Day, but they'd have to come in person.
That's correct.
Well, and I know this has been talked about a lot. It's this postcard that came from the United States Postal Service. Can you tell me a little bit about this, and should people pay attention to this? Should they ignore it? What's the backstory here?
Well, I think people should ignore it. Election administrators in Washington State were not aware that the Postal Service was going to mail that out. We are a vote-by-mail state, so nothing on that card really applies to Washington State voters because every single registered voter will automatically receive a ballot in the mail. The only pertinent information on there is, we do ask that voters return their ballot early. If their mind is made up, they know who they're going to vote for, go ahead and vote your ballot. But I would prefer that people actually return their ballot in one of our 29 drop boxes, because that's the most direct way for a voter to return their ballot to us.
Okay. And how do they find those drop boxes? Probably on your website where they can find the nearest one?
They are all listed on our website, and they will also receive an insert with their ballot that will also list all of the addresses. So that right information will be readily handy to them. So it will come right with their ballot.
All right. And this is a little basic, but when you receive your ballot, how do you cast that vote? What do you do?
Well, it's very simple. If you remember back in school, you fill in the oval on some of the tests, and that's what you do on the ballots in Thurston County. And I think what's important for people to remember is that you can only vote for one candidate in each race. But if people don't know the candidates, let's say there's a race and they're not familiar with either candidate and don't feel informed enough to vote on it, they can leave races blank and the rest of the ballot will count.
Okay, so if you don't know the candidates and you don't want to vote for that race, no problem. Just leave it blank.
Exactly.
Okay. What happens if you lose your ballot?
If you lose your ballot, or say your dog eats your ballot, or you spill food on your ballot, you can request a replacement ballot from my office. You can do that online, or you can call 360-786-5408, or go to thurstonvotes.org. and request a replacement ballot. You can request as many replacement ballots as you want, but you can only return one. But we would prefer that you get a clean ballot if you made an error or spilled something on your ballot, and we're happy to send you a replacement.
Okay, and that's okay to do like at any time. I mean, isn't there a crunch if it gets really close to election day? What happens then?
Sure. If we get really close to election day, we're not sure that a ballot is going to get to the voter via mail. So in that case, we would suggest that the voter come to our voting center at South Puget Sound Community College. Again, it's a drive-through service. They would just give us their name and date of birth, and it's like McDonald's. You go to the first window and you place your order. You go to the second window to pick up your order. So second window, you'd pick up your ballot. And again, we do ask that people wear masks.
Okay, and I'm also guessing that if you do come to register on election day, you probably vote that day too. Is that correct?
That is correct. We will register the voter and also get them a ballot at that same time. And we have installed a drop box at South Puget Sound Community College, so they can simply drive on into the parking lot, vote in the parking lot, and put their voted ballot with the signed declaration in our ballot drop box right there.
Well, it sounds like you made it really easy for everybody. We appreciate that.
We're trying hard.
We've got another mailer. This is from you. Join the 90%. Does this mean that you expect a 90% turnout?
That is our goal, and that's what election administrators are predicting across the state. In the primary election, we had record turnout, highest turnout that we have had since the 1960s. So if that's any indication of what the general election is going to be, we really do expect record turnout in this presidential election, which is another reason we really are asking voters to vote and return their ballot early, because we were going to have a lot of ballots to process this election.
Yeah, with a lot of ballots processing, do you need more ballot counters with the increase?
Well, the interesting thing about COVID, we have put a lot of safety and health measures in place at our ballot processing center. And because of the physical distancing requirement, we can only fit half of the ballot inspectors in our facility. We have had a lot of people apply. I think we have enough right now, but if we don't, we will open it back up for staff. But I feel very fortunate that our regular ballot inspectors have really trusted us that we're taking all the safety precautions to keep them safe. And we're going to be running double shifts because we can only fit half the staff in that facility. So I also want to, make people aware that results are going to be slower this election because there's just due to the simple volume and the fact that we can only fit half our staff in our facility.
Yeah, and what are some of the other safety precautions? Do you have them wearing masks? Do you have them wearing gloves? Is there a chance they might catch COVID from a ballot?
So upon entry to our facility, everybody is required to have their temperature taken. So that's the first step. Everybody is required to wear masks and gloves, which we provide. We have also put plexiglass dividers between all of our staff, and we've spread them out 6 feet. So if you walk in our shop, it's a room full of plexiglass dividers and little cubicles everywhere. So we're working really hard to keep workers safe. Everybody has hand sanitizer at their workstation. Also, we're not sharing pens or any other of the tools that ballot inspectors need. Everybody has their own little case of tools that are specifically given to them for use throughout the election.
All right, so November 3rd is the day. And make sure you get your ballot in. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we let you go and get back to work?
Just that this is a really important election. And if people don't get their ballot for whatever reason, please call us right away. So if people don't have their ballot by October 20th, please reach out to my office and we're happy to send you a replacement ballot. And if that first ballot shows up, we request that you actually vote the second ballot you receive, because once we issue a second ballot, it cancels out that first ballot. So that's when I say you can request as many ballots as you want, but you can only return one.
And you need to return the latest one you've got, the newest one.
Correct. The most recent
The
ballot.
most recent, right. Okay. Well, thanks, Mary. And thanks for all you do. And good luck on November 3rd. And we'll be watching.
Thank you, Robert. Thanks for having me.
Be one of the 90%. Make sure you're registered to vote. You can do that online at thurstonvotes.org by October 26th or in person at the voting center at SBACC by November 3rd. If you lose your ballot, please call 360-786-5408 or email elections@co.thurston.wa.us and put that ballot in a drop box or in the mail by November 3rd. That's all we have for you today. If you have any comments or suggestions for something we should cover, send us an email, rkam@tcmedia.org. Stay updated with Thurston Community Media and stay safe, Thurston County.